Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Kaz with Banished. And I finally got my microphone to work with this recording software, so I'm going to try to do some commentary with this Banished game. So it's really a survival game. There's not a lot of combat or anything of that nature, so you're really just trying to keep everybody healthy and happy and fed, especially fed. And in the meantime, you do a lot of mining of resources, and you clear your landscape so that you can go ahead and build more resources. And you need things like food and wood, stone, iron, and you're really just trying to keep everybody alive. You want to make conditions so that they'll build more structures and breed. It's important that they breed. You want to have your people always making new people, or else you'll run out of laborers and your camp will just die. You have to have them constantly breeding and trying to create laborers. So it's important that you have a good pool of adults and children and students. So right now I know for a fact that I'm going to run out of food, so we're going to go ahead and make another fishing dock. And this way we will have food for the winter. So you have a seasonal changes of season, so there'll be seasonal things to do. So you want to make sure that you're ready for winter. You want to have enough firewood and logs and those sorts of things. So you have all these icons that you click on, and you can harvest trees. As you'll see, I'm going to harvest trees, and I'm going to collect stone. And you just basically swipe the cursor over the stone, and you'll see that they begin to harvest all of the resources. So right now you'll see that I have no logs, so I can't make firewood. And if I can't make firewood, then I'll be unable to keep everybody warm during the winter. So right now my primary problem is I do not have food, and people will start to starve. This is not a good thing. We don't want anyone to starve. That will definitely just be a bad way to go. So you want to make sure that you collect a lot of resources. I have no stone. I have very little iron. You'll see that there's all the resources here. Stored food, medicine, clothing. Down here is your professions, where you allocate the people and their jobs. You want to make sure you have a good laborer pool, and that requires that you have a happy community who is constantly breeding and making more and more personnel to take care of all of the tasks that are needed. So the thing I don't like about this game is it has this weather effects, which really just put a cloud over the whole game. Literally, they obscure the graphics, and it gets a little bit gets ugly. So, all right, so we're going to continue to harvest trees, and we'll go ahead and clear out this entire area. And you can click on the fishing dock. You'll see the completion rate and all of the things that it needs. So we need more stone, or else we won't finish this. So we're going to go ahead and collect stone. And you will eventually run out of resources. So it is important that you survey the land. So if you scroll out, you can then see the land. So I'm going to have to make a bridge to come over here, because there's a lot of stone over here. And it looks like we have a lot of iron and things of that nature here. So right now what I want to do is I want to make a pasture for the sheep, and that'll give us some food. But first I have to collect a lot more stone and things that I need because it's autumn, which means the winter is coming. And right now I think I'm going to stop the woodcutters from doing their jobs. So you'll see the icon becomes like a stop sign. And I don't need any more firewood. That should last through the winter. And I need the resources for other things. Specifically, I need stone, so I'm going to continue to cut stone. And I hope I get a nice amount of stone before the winter comes, so that I can make this fishing dock. Because we need the food. And by the next year, I want to make some crops and start to really get my food stockpiles built up. So we're just going to continue to get as much stone as possible. This is iron. You can see the difference between the color. And I don't really need that much iron, at least not right now. You see, as our surpluses go up, they start to build. So if I get enough stone, it will complete both the fishing dock and this house that I'm building. So if you click on every house, you'll see that they have a full amount of people in it and food. So you want them to have firewood and food so it'll last the winter, or else everybody will starve and things will get really ugly. And right now I know how the game goes. I usually am not prepared for the winter, and I usually don't have enough food, and people begin to starve. So I'm trying to get another fishing dock, because to me that is a quick way to get food, and it's a very reliable way to get food. We'll continue cutting these trees. I'm going to make this entire area completely devoid of trees. And here's the first snowfall, and as you can see, the icon, the fork and knife, that means that we don't have enough food. And I'm not sure how the fishing dock holds up during the winter, so I want to get a pasture. I think I'm going to make a pasture right here. So we'll go over here and click on this, the cow or the cattle, and I'm going to make a pasture. That should be, I think that should be sufficient. So we'll begin to build the pasture, and I'm hoping that that gives us a good stockpile. We could start slaughtering the sheep, but we can't do that until we have a pasture. Everybody seems to be okay. You'll see here's the event log. You see a lot of people are becoming adults and laborers, so my labor force is growing. And this is really good because I need people to take care of the various tasks and especially make sure that I have food. I'm going to get rid of these trees right here. Right, so we're 53% complete on building the pasture. And we're almost finished with the fishing dock. So you see we have no food, but I think the houses came stocked with food for the winter. So I think we're going to be good, and there's been a good fishing supply. So if you click on the fishing dock, and this, you'll see there's 816 fish of the last season. And this next season, this one has produced no fish. but it will eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise up the fishermen. There's 4 fishermen per dock. That is very intensive on resources. And we're going to put the sheep into this, and we're going to give them a farm hand, I think it's called, or a herdsman. We're also going to, it can only hold 4 sheep. So I think we have 6, so the rest of them will go into the surplus. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of sheep, and that'll give us food. You'll see that they will begin to slaughter the sheep. I will adjust it so there's only 3 of 4 so that we can begin slaughtering sheep and getting the wool. You see, they slaughtered the sheep. I should have made the pasture a lot bigger because I had a lot more sheep. But, you know, I'm not really sure how much square footage I need to handle 8 sheep. So I just tried my best. So we got a surplus of food because the sheep definitely gives you a lot of food. It looks like everybody's okay for the winter, but normally people start starving around this time. All right, we're going to harvest some more trees. And we'll harvest some more stone, as much stone as we can get. That looks like a nice amount of stone. And that should really give our stockpiles a nice boost. We always want to have surplus. And here we're 66% full on the stockpile. So the stockpile holds firewood, iron, logs, and stone. And the storage barn holds our perishable items, fish, mutton, and the tools that we need, like the pickaxes and that sort of thing, and the axes to chop down trees, and the coats keep us warm. So we should always have coats and iron tools and those sorts of things, or else people will be unhappy and basically they will die. And we don't want that to happen. So, all right, so we'll bring this back up again, and hopefully we'll have a nice amount of sheep that we can continue to feed our people with and provide them with wool and mutton. We'll also start getting rid of some of this iron. We don't really need it right now, but it will come in handy a little bit later when we need iron supplies. So if we look here, we're getting a nice supply to keep our people well fed during the winter months. And it's the first winter of our existence, as denoted by winter 1. All right, so food is low. You'll see that we get a prompt that food is low. I'm not sure how. I thought we were making a nice amount of food. But the more people we have, the more food we need. So when we start growing our community and more people become available, you're going to need more food. But that's okay. What we'll begin to do is create crops. And the crops are a lot better to manage than the fishing docks. It only takes 2 farmers per field. So as you can see, we're good. Food is getting a little bit scarce, but the winter is almost over. We will create, I like to create roads and stone roads because they help um, guide the community to where the resources are and where people should go. So, for example, if I created a road that goes directly to the dock, they'll take the straight line to the barn instead of just possibly walking all over the place. The drawback is that, of course, it takes stone and whatever resource you need. So it's late winter. We're coming up to our first season where we can start building crops. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on this food production and go to crop field. And I normally make the fields 9 by 10. Yeah, I normally make the fields 9 by 10. I find that that's a good field that gives a nice yield. All right, so that's a 9 by 10 field. We'll go ahead and build that. We will make a cabbage. And we'll take two people to be farmers. So that should begin to produce as soon as the winter is over. And in the meantime, we will continue to chop wood and get our stockpiles of wood. Now I'll just rotate this here so that we can see the back end here. I'm going to create a stockpile. So we need an additional stockpile. And I'll just put that there so that we don't max out our ability to store resources. Okay, so I think if we slaughter some sheep, we'll get some food. As you can see, our food is up, our stone is up, we got stored iron and a good amount of logs, but we always want to continue to increase these resources because it's really important. All right, so I'm going to make a gatherer, an herbalist here. What's low? Food is low, so we're always skirting the edge of food. I never can keep on top of food. It's really my downfall in this game. You see, it's early spring, so I'm hoping that we can get these crops to begin and save our people, from starvation. We'll continue to clear out these, and we'll also get the stone that's here. All right, so this is a game that I found on Steam. I think it was $20, and I just gave it a shot. When I first joined up Steam, I just didn't know what to do on Steam, so I saw this game was on sale, and I bought it. And I really like mining and community upkeep, those type of things. So this game was right up my alley, and I really enjoyed it. It's relaxing. It's not. There's no combat. There's no raids or anything. You don't have to build defenses or do anything like that. Nobody's going to come and attack us or anything like that. It's basically, can you keep your people alive? All right, we're not building anything, so I put everyone into the labor pool, and that helps us to collect resources. As you can see, food is scarce, and we're really hoping that we can get a good crop. So over the summer, it'll begin to yield, but it's never enough. I find it's never enough. So we'll have to build more crops, which we'll do. as soon as I get more resources and the like. What I want to really do is begin to build up my community facilities, like build schools and those sorts of things. All right, so we'll make a road that goes directly to the dock. We'll bring this up to 3 or 4, and maybe they'll breed some sheep. As you can see, we're clearing out everything really nicely. Our homes, we have some stone houses which protect against the cold. And we haven't really used our surplus of firewood. It's remained stable, which means that each house has enough firewood to last the winter. And they have a good supply of food. So we're pretty good with food and the like. I'm going to build another house, and the detriment to building more houses is that people will breed and will need more food. And we're not really ready at this point to introduce new people, but you got to do it because you have to keep your community breeding and having kids. It's really important. It's part of the dynamic. All right, so look, our harvest is coming up. Our crops are starting to become plentiful, and we'll put some builders, because I went to build this house, so you have to allocate builders from your laborer pool, and that's just the way the game works. So our fishing dock is producing, you see, little by little. So as the season gets better, spring and summer, there'll be more food, and then winter, that becomes scarce. So we're always trying to use the spring, summer, and autumn to build up our food supplies to last through the winter. And that's basically it. You rinse and repeat over and over and over. Unfortunately, things start to become really hectic. And eventually, I will have more people than food or more people than firewood. And things start to get out of control. You'll see we're always on the in danger of running out of food. It's my biggest threat in this game. I've never played it where I didn't run out of food and people started to starve. All right, so we build a new house, and right away it becomes populated. 10-year-old and 12-year-old, yeah, they'll start breeding like rabbits. Trust me. And then they take from our inventory and put it into their house so that they can survive the winter. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. And you'll see that they subtract it from our firewood and from our food stores. So every time you create a new house, you better make sure you have enough to supply that house. And right now we are so low on food, it's going to be really ugly winter, I think. It's going to be a really ugly winter. And that's just the way the game goes. Hopefully this crop will give us a good amount of food, possibly to last through the winter. But just one field is not going to do it. I knew that. I really did. I knew that. But that's the way it works. And if everybody starts dying, I'll just restart a new game. I really just wanted to test my ability to record PC games, so that's why I was throwing up these Banished and you know, this is a Steam game that I wanted to see if I could record and post to YouTube. So it's really a work in progress. When I get everything pretty good, the mic settings and everything really well, I will restart the game and do a really intense playthrough. All right, let's clear out all of this back here. And let's get all of the stone from back here too. And we'll make a bridge across here to start collecting all of these resources as well. But right now my primary thought is to get food, and to get food in a hurry. There is not a lot of food. It's mostly fish. And the fish is it's not a huge yield. It's early summer. Yeah, if this was up in the thousands, we would be okay. But right now, we are in danger of starvation during the winter. Not a good look, guys. All right, our harvest is up. See that? We're going to scroll over here. I don't know why it scrolled over there. My mouse went crazy. Sorry about that, guys. Come on, come on. 80%. Our sheep are not producing as well. So we hit our limit with the sheep. They don't seem to be multiplying, so that's going to be a bad way to go for us. And let's get some more stone here. As you can see, we're clearing out everything here, so there'll be plenty of areas to make more crops, and we can begin to build more things. I think what I'm going to build now is a school. I think a school would be very beneficial to our group at this time. I'm going to put the school here. All right, and that means that we need to allocate builders. So we'll do that. And that will deplete our stone and wood and all of those things. So you see how the game goes. You get a basic feel for how the game goes. Make sure you have enough resources and make sure that you have enough food. And food, you need also medicine, because food is just not enough. But as you can see, the stored food is starting to raise, and I think everyone has a good inventory of food to last the winter. So here we are in the summer. That's when the fishing docks really crank up. You see that they're really getting up there now. This one should be producing very well. Yeah, it's up in the 600. So this has been producing at around 1,000 per season. And we are smack dab in the middle of the season. And our crops are almost ready to be produced and harvested. The school is important because educated people mine resources better and overall become better laborers. They're a skilled workforce, whereas without them, they're unskilled and the game is at a disadvantage. Well, your people are at a disadvantage if they're uneducated. So it's just like life, people. It's just like life. Yeah, I'm not getting any more sheep, so I have to be careful. I'm hoping that maybe they multiply. I don't know how that works. I'm not really sure if I can multiply. I don't think they breed. It's saying our reserve of food is low. But I think we're doing pretty good. We have about 200 and something stored food. I mean, if that's low, especially if we got a lot of people, fat kids, maybe there's an epidemic of obesity in my community. Who knows? Come on, people, get all this stone. Yeah, food is becoming scarce. I may have to make another fishing dock here. I think I'm going to do that. Right? We'll put this dock here. All right, and then we will increase our builders so we get that done quickly. It's the late summer. We're going to go into autumn and then winter. And winter is the time where we really are in danger of things happening. Specifically, people going starvation and people getting cold and dying from cold. Not too many people die of cold because I have a good amount of firewood and there's plenty of trees. But as I said, food really is the main danger here in this game. You see, we're out of food. There's no stored food, but we're taking our crop now. So this might work in our favor. We might have enough surplus of food. I doubt it. We'd need to have like 800 food to really have a really good surplus where I'm not in any danger of anyone dying. So yeah, you see they're collecting up all of this cabbage. All right, and we really need to get these fishing docks going. My laborer pool is low. I'm hoping that some children become students. We are definitely producing children. And the more children we produce, the more food they eat. So things get a little bit hectic, guys. We don't have a good labor pool. And you can see how all of these dynamics work together. And it really sometimes becomes a really hectic type of scenario where I can't keep my head above water or I can't feed my people. We're going to get all this iron here. I'm going to get all this iron. So my community is shaping up. The only thing is that we don't have a lot of food. I'm going to have 3 fishing docks, and even at that, it won't be enough to keep everyone fed. You'll see in my event log, I don't know, it's kind of small, but my event log, there's a lot of children being born. There are a hell of a lot of children being born. And I think when winter comes, we will stop this episode and pick up where we left off in the next episode. We are getting a lot of prompts of food, and that's it. This I'm going to relinquish these farmers because there won't be another crop. So I'll put them back into my laborer pool. And we're getting students, so that's really good. So now it's early autumn. And we really have to rely upon the fishing docks to provide us with what we need. We're going to go and get some more stone. I don't know if there's any more stone here, but I don't need iron, but I'll collect it anyway. And it'll only be a couple more minutes before it becomes winter. And as soon as it turns winter, we will end this episode. You can see we got a lot of logs and stone, firewood, but we don't have a lot of food. That's not a lot. And we got a lot of children are being born. We have quite a busy community. And I'm hesitant to make another house, although if you don't make more houses, you will miss the window for breeding. You need to have young people who will go into the houses and occupy the houses and begin to breed. We are low on food dangerously low on food. And the fish is not going to feed our people throughout the winter. It will be a disaster. You might very well see the downfall of this community, and fairly soon. And we still haven't gotten into disease and things that happen, because if I can't make a hospital and start staffing these facilities, things will go downhill quickly. So there's a lot of facets of things that you really need to do and keep on top of, because if you do not, things degrade very rapidly. Before you know it, there'll be all sorts of mayhem going on, and people starving, people freezing. It gets ugly. I always start off good, but then everything just falls apart. And it's usually because I just don't make enough food. I really should make like 3 or 4 crops right from the beginning. But I usually gravitate towards making fishing docks. Because to me, that's going to get me food steady, but it's just not enough. It's really just not enough. And you can't have these circles overlap each other, or else they will cut into each other's harvests. So you want to have the fishing docks spread out enough so that they don't encroach upon the other one's fishing stocks. Okay, so we're getting more and more people becoming students. That's good. Now, if I could just get survivors who don't eat, that would be great. If we could somehow breed survivors who don't need food, that would help out a lot. We are perilously close to no food. We have 92 stored food, and that's not going to be enough to get us through the winter. All right, so it's late autumn. And as you can see, everything's turning wintry. The grass is going away, and it won't be long. We got frost on the ground, so that is going to be very close to the end of this episode. I'm not sure how long this episode is, but looks like it's going to be close to the end of this episode. And food is going to be a big problem for us. This will be our second winter, and I'm hoping that we don't lose a lot of people. I have gone through a couple winters where I've lost the majority of my people. And if I lose my people who are of breeding age, that's it. That's it. So here's our first snowstorm. And I think on that note, we are going to end this episode. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a very slow-paced game, but it has a lot of dynamics. If you like those, a nice, relaxing game that you don't have to be frantically playing, this is it. This is it. Don't get me wrong, it has its perils, and it really is could be very stressful and anxious. But like I said, you're not bashing buttons and combat and doing all sorts of crazy things. So I hope you enjoyed. This is Kaz signing off. Take care. Peace.